I put to think of myself as a nasty bitch.
That's enough, Dana.
Fuck you Ivy League tight ass.
Oh, the melodrama.
That's enough, Dana.
A nasty bitch.
All right. Wow. Welcome to Screams and Streams, the podcast that looks at the best and worst horror movies as rated on Rotten Tomatoes from 1970 onwards. I'm your host, Chad, and with me are my co-hosts,
Mike
and
Sam.
Be sure to check us out on Instagram. Our handle is @ScreamStreamPod. Also, check out our website, screamsandstreams.com, for more information about the film that we are looking at. Just a warning, if you don't like spoilers, we recommend that you stop listening now, check out the film, and then rejoin us for our discussion. Today, we are going to be looking at a film that started a franchise. It spawned 14 sequels.
14?
14.
Holy shit.
I saw, yeah.
That's gratuitous.
It's pretty crazy, yeah. 2 comic miniseries, an ongoing comic series, and a video game. It is David Schmoeller's 1989 film, Puppet Master. It scored 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. 50%, and it spawned 14 sequels.
Yep.
Insane.
Wow.
Let's get into it. All right, Mike, you're going to give us our summary.
All right. So Neil Gallagher found the secret to Toulon's puppets, who came to life and then killed himself. Alex and his
Oh.
yeah, I know. Who's Toulon? Doesn't matter, but he killed himself. Alex and his psychic friends come to investigate and are stalked by Toulon's puppets, who have a variety of strange traits, including a drill for a head and the ability to spit up leeches.
Yeah, that one was weird.
Yep.
The leech spitting lady was a little much. Yeah.
Yep.
So many reasons.
Well, we're going to hear from Mike back to back here because we're going to get into our sinister sip. What are we drinking for Puppet Master today?
The cocktail is called the Puppet Master from cookingguide.com.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Smells nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was delicious.
I like it.
Yeah.
Jack Daniels, Kahlua, and coffee.
Yep. Delicious. Well done.
So good.
So good. All right, Sam, you're going to kick us off with your first impression of this film. What did you think of Puppet Master?
Okay, so my note here, I had seen a Puppet Master movie, but I didn't realize there were 14 of them. So as a child, so I was like, I do remember the Blade puppet, like with the white face. So I do remember that. So in one of the 14 movies, however many he's in, I watched one of them.
All right.
I do feel it's like you've maybe seen one, you've seen many, like the puppets kill people in different ways. But I don't know. I have not seen all 14.
I've seen 3.
Okay. Are they all the
they're
same?
all the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Neat. I said the first 30 minutes was really, really boring. And then the rest is really weird. And I didn't love the movie overall. So it was what I expected it to be, killer puppets, and that's what I got.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I agree. I thought the first 40 minutes were, I'm going to tack on 10, were super boring. I think I even made a note here, 45 minutes and nobody's dead. What's going on? Something like that. But it was really long. Actually, the first thing I noticed was like, hey, the guy's the old grandpa from Christmas Vacation, the one that blows up the
yeah,
tree.
yeah.
I looked at him and I was like, hey, it's that guy. I was like, the blessing. That one. But I don't know. It was okay. I mean, there were deaths that happened. I thought I really had a hard time staying engaged. I remember liking this film when I was younger because I had seen it when I was in high school. And then when I saw it on the list, I was really excited and I thought, okay, this is going to be awesome. And then I watched it. I was just like, it just missed the mark for me.
Yeah.
This one. Okay, Mike, let's hear from you on your impressions of Puppet Master.
All right. So the first time I watched this movie was when I was far too young, and it was with
We hear that a lot, Mike.
yeah.
My friend rented it at Blockbuster.
No.
My friend's dad rented it.
This was with my family,
Oh.
and we'll get into one of the categories later about how awkward it was.
Oh, yeah.
I
With
watched
the
the-
family you watched?
Watched it with my parents
Oh,
and
yeah.
sisters in the
That
room
would get weird, yeah.
when I was about 10 or 11 years old.
Oh, and extra
Ooh,
weird.
that is.
So-
It's a
Sorry.
It's a different time.
Yeah. So I don't remember a lot about it, but I think like Chad, like I was young. It was like cool in air quotes, puppets killing. And so I hadn't seen it since I was a kid. I think I've only ever seen maybe one or two others. I had no idea there were 14 sequels either. So all I remembered was cool puppets, kind of funky. I like the guy with the fists. I remember like thinking he was like the best one, which is weird. But yeah, rewatching it. I mean, you said 30 minutes, Chad, you said 40 minutes. This movie's an hour and a half. I would say the first hour and 10 are boring.
Oh, yeah. Ouch, yeah.
No, it's slow.
Yeah.
It's a soap opera and then becomes a murder fest eventually-ish.
Yeah.
So yeah, didn't quite like it.
They deal too much on there's a history between these people that we don't know.
Yeah.
And they don't tell us any of that until like into the film. It reminded me a little bit of It, where they all kind of knew each other and they met up because someone died and then this all shit kind of happens to them, but not as well done as even the TV version.
Yeah.
Like it was just blah.
Yeah, and even the getting to know their backstory, that dinner is long.
Oh
and
my
plodding.
God.
So long.
It's so long. Yeah.
Yeah.
And accents drop. Like they come and go. Like the one fortune teller lady. I was just like, fuck, be consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just-
Yep.
Okay. As we've toppled that category, let's go on to Tropes Hall of Shame. I'm going to start with my trope. I had a few, and we've seen this in lots of horror films. Hit with an object, pans away, you see the blood. Maid is hit with the fire poker.
Yep.
Oh,
That was my first one. My second one is always one that just tells it like it is. There's always a character that just is rude
Yeah.
and, they just tell it like it is.
Mm.
So those were a couple of my first ones. Mike, what did you have?
I have the location is next to a cliff.
No,
I
I
thought,
didn't even think of that one. Yeah.
yeah, but then doesn't play into it at all. So I was like, I don't know why we
Yeah,
needed that
nobody
much of an
falls
establishing
off
shot.
it,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the POV of the killer and breathing in the beginning. When
Yes,
the puppets
I had
running
that
and
one
breathing
too,
and
yeah.
breathing and breathing.
Yep.
Yep.
Sam, what were a couple of yours?
Mike, like you kind of said, the puppet killer POV with the breathing, but then his little feet sound.
Yeah.
His little-
Pitter patter.
so I was like, oh God. And then the piano playing, like it's like a creepy trope. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know it was the puppet playing it, but yeah,
Yeah.
creepy.
I had wake up from a nightmare within a nightmare. Those were the leeches on the guy.
Yeah.
And I had everybody's brought together after an event.
Yeah.
Right, like a catastrophic event or whatever. I don't know if they really liked this guy. I don't think they did. A lot of them
They didn't seem to. No, they were
lot of
almost celebrating his
call
death.
him names, but they were like, "Oh, he knows stuff, so let's figure it out." That's
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
we're here. But yeah,
Well, and
I
even the one who's like, let's make sure he's dead. And then,
Oh.
yeah, they
I
stabbed
was
that like
"Pardon me?"
needle down his chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like,
Yep.
yeah, he's dead. Yeah.
Did.
Mike,
My next one is the ancient Egyptian scroll will reveal the
Yes, I had that too.
the magic
give
or
me the
whatever.
power, I beg of you.
And then peeping through a keyhole.
Oh, good one. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah. Sam, do you have some others?
Yeah. Sensing someone in the room. And then when you turn around, they're not there.
Yeah.
And of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
they weren't expecting a tiny little puppet. So they just had to look down and maybe seen it. And then I had just psychics in general. Like
Right.
they
Yeah.
come together, they're like, oh, something's bad has happened. And like in the summary that I had here, it said that Alex Whittaker and his fellow psychics were assailed by nightmarish visions. And I was like, I think there was only one vision. And the
Yeah.
dude's like, we should go check on what's going on.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Was that the fortune teller?
I don't
Who was
know.
the fortune teller?
Alex was the guy that had dreams.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
I
then
don't
there's the
know.
one with the weird chicken
With
foot.
the mop of hair.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, great hair. Great 80s hair. Yeah, I don't know who was what.
My last one was the fortune teller. Like just a fortune teller foretelling the doom. And then she's like some carnival fortune teller, but then she actually has a vision.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, we need to.
Yeah.
So that was my last one. Mike, did you have any others?
Yeah, I had the death sounds confused for sex sounds
Yeah.
Yep.
because they heard a lot of the sex sounds too. And then
Forgot about that.
the shadow of the killer on a curtain in behind, like when the woman standing in the coffin. I did love like the puppetry
little thing that do.
and then darts off.
Yeah. I have that scene in like What Doesn't Hold Up because I was like, that's so stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. All right, so moving on to our one-liners. Okay, Sam, what did you have for some one-liners here?
My first one was the one from the opening there as well. I like to think of myself as a nasty bitch. And then my only other one was, your husband was a despicable, greedy bastard.
Oh.
I just like the delivery of that one. So,
Nice.
yep.
Mike, did you have some?
Yeah, so my first one, I loved it because it was just like, that guy's got to be like, fuck you. But it's when they're in the fortune teller, the couple, and they're asking the questions. It's just like, do you think Buddy here's ever going to get a real job? It's just like, the guy's right beside her, like, what the fuck? And then, like we'll get into this later categories, but they're doing the sexual psychic research and the girl's describing stuff. And he's like, ooh, this little girl has a very vivid imagination.
Yes. Classic.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wrote this one down. Like when you read it out of context, I think like when I watched the film, I put it down and I thought it must have been the way it was delivered or something. First of all, I have above it, Frank looks like a grease ball. And then in the other one, he's the guy with the ponytail. I think. Yeah. And he says, oh, what would you do with the power? Oh, that's easy. I'd rule the world.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's not a great line. I don't know why I thought.
Maybe you wrote down because it was so cheesy and stupid.
Yeah, maybe.
And there wasn't much at the beginning. So it was at the beginning, you're like, fuck, I need something.
Yeah. And as I look at this, I'm looking at my one-liners and I said I had 5. I don't have 5. I have like 1. So I'm backing out. So I'll just say that's my one-liner is a horrible, shitty one that I put out there. And Mike, do you have any others?
I have one more because I'm also culling now out of context. I can't remember who it is, but 2 famous movie stars had a wild night in this bed.
Yeah. That's that whole setup. That fucking scene just bothered me. I just where I can feel their energy, and then she's gotta like just experience what they experienced. Is that her deal?
Yeah,
but it's just sex.
It's just sex. Yeah, watch that with your parents in the room. Tell me how you feel
when you're
10.
Yeah, no joggers worn.
No joggers worn that day. Mike, you want to go up and get us some popcorn? No.
I don't want any.
I am very full. All right. So we're going to go now into what doesn't hold up. Mike, what doesn't hold up for you?
I only had one, and I think it's again through exhaustion, but how does no one see the puppet running around at the very beginning except for one woman? Like they are calf to knee high on most people. And that guy is running by everybody and nobody sees it. So yeah, that didn't hold up for me.
Well, and I had the same thing because like you would see like a spider in your room and it will catch your eye, or a fly.
Yeah.
And it's like this little fucking thing running around and it's making little tippity tap noises. And it's there, like you would see it.
But you would see it. Yeah. You would definitely see it. And then you'd also wonder, why the fuck does it just have a knife and a hook? It's like, I'm getting out of this hotel. Sam, what did you have?
I had that. Why does no one notice this shit as he's running around? I said the fade from the opening credits into the beach scene was absolutely awful. So I hated that. And I said the hotel footage looks really old, like the scenic shots. I was like, this is horrible when you see it up on the cliff, and they keep using that same scene. I'm like, stop. Like it looks like shit.
Yeah.
Those are my first couple.
Okay. I had a couple. I had the suicide shot of the old man, the gunshot and the spray, the sound effects. It looks all horrible.
Yeah.
He takes that gun, and the gun's huge, and he like puts it right in his mouth, and there's no like spray back or like recoil or anything. It's just like and done. So I had that. And then I also had Alex's Beethoven hair.
Oh, yes.
So it doesn't hold up. It's like quite a mitt full of hair he's got going on there. So those were my first two. Sam, did you have some others?
Sure did. I had, and I know it was in the dream, but the screaming at the leeches. I was like, just pull it off. Like, just, you're fine. And the screaming was so over the top.
He was tied to the bed though.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, but the screaming for me, it was just like, shut
and
the
they're
fuck
just
up.
leeches. Like,
you saw it in Stand By Me. They just pick it off and throw it away. Like,
I don't know. Yeah. And then I said, we already talked about the puppet and the curtains. I was like, he's just like jumping around in there a little bit. And I was like,
jump around.
That's what it looked like. It was just like, and then I said also the super strong puppet was able to hit her in the head with the fire poker. Yeah. Like, I don't think it would have had that much force to
Yeah.
So I was like, that was stupid. And then also just the puppets in general, like just kick it, just punch it, like toss it away, like rip its arm off, like it's a puppet, like just.
Yeah, I'm going to back you up on that. Where you're saying that, I also said this puppet runs at her and she doesn't move. Come on.
Oh, like, and then on top of that, I'm like, why can't she walk? It's a flesh wound. Like it's a tiny little wound. Like little stand up.
Like, you just get out of there.
Fight
like
back.
She's limping, like crawling around. I was like, give me a break.
Stand the fuck up. Yeah. Like you're not even bleeding. Kick it, punch it, like do something. She's just taking it.
It's been a while since Sam's got mad at a movie.
How can you not overpower these puppets?
Like just step on it.
Yeah.
Throw it.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I also put the killings in this film are extremely slow.
Yes. Yeah.
Like just very plodding. And one of the things I said, these are the slowest punches ever at the end. And Alex just eats them.
Yeah. And not from a wide range, but apparently incapacitating.
Yes. And so just bad. Like the fight scenes horrible at the end. I just hated the last 20 minutes of this film and also the first 40. So I'm not sure what section I liked.
There's a good half hour in there somewhere.
We'll hit the stood of the test
but
of time.
Man,
and see.
Good Lord. All right. Going on that with the slowest punches ever, we're going to go to most gratuitous scene and we'll ask Sam, what did you have for most gratuitous?
Just Alex's acting in the dreams. I had the screaming and then the stop. Like, so bad. And then I said the sweat from the guy doing nothing in bed. He's like a really sweaty man for just lying there. And then the white witch after being bitten minorly. So I have like that's a minor bite. And then she's really sweaty. So yeah.
They're all sweaty.
They're all
just working up a sweat.
Yep.
Mike, what did you have?
My first one was just the length of the opening credits, right? I said like, I didn't mind the song apparently, but it just goes on and on. And then the out of focus dissolve just as like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I hated that. Yeah.
And I kept thinking like, I should fast forward. Like, no, watch the whole movie. It's like, And then my other one, and I think maybe this is what you meant, Sam, sorry, because there was the leeches in the bed, but also I put like the length of time Neil lays on the elevator floor while she vomits up a slug.
Yes.
So I think that's when you, it's like just stand up.
As well.
Yeah. Get up.
So to piggyback off that, I said this woman puppet has a super weird power. She pukes leeches and it takes forever. Like, why would you just sit there and let this thing just slowly puke up a leech that's the size of her?
Yep.
Oh, if not bigger.
Yeah, just ridiculous.
That's so stupid.
Why can no one open the elevator door was when I had. So the leeches thing was one of my gratuitous, and the punches, like the death scenes were just done in a way that just made you like, hurry up, let's just get it done. Like, let's go. And we're going to move into our terrifying or titillating. I found nothing terrifying. The only thing I guess in the category of titillating would be the psychic that needs to have sex in every bedroom that she goes into.
Yeah.
So that's all I had.
Yeah.
Mike, what did you have?
I had on her, I'm like, psychic, but only for sex. It's like, if she feels an object, she knows its history. Apparently only sexual, though.
Yes.
Because she lays in the bed, she's like, oh. It's like, Jesus Christ.
And it's so drawn out, it's so fake.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. And then my other comment just around the titillating side, not that it was titillating, but I was going to almost put it as a trope, but the psychic research, but it's of only sexual desires.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Again, Watch this with your parents when you're 10 or 11.
I had the same too as you, Mike, actually. And I thought it was so gross. Like her psychic power
Right,
is like knowing the sexual history. But imagine going to a hotel and it's just
Yeah.
every single person that's banged on that bed. Like, you're like getting it's like, ugh.
How would you feel comfortable in any hotel?
And like even like in your friend's house, you'd go there and be like, oh, they banged there on the kitchen's counter, on the stools, in the bathtub. It's like, oh my gosh, so how gross. And then the weird, and this was before we knew that was like her psychic power.
Yeah.
Mike, when you said when they're doing the experiment, I don't know, that the whole experiment at the beginning, you don't realize that's her thing, and they're just recording the sex on a tape recorder for an experiment.
Yeah.
It just seemed odd.
And I feel like he wasn't recording it for like the research purposes. Like,
He was totally a perv.
He was recording it to listen to later on his own.
Yeah. He's like, ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
No,
so
he's
weird.
a greaseball. Yeah. I did not like that guy.
No.
So other than Frank, what stood the test of time in this film? We'll go to Mike. What stood the test of time for you?
I think this was my child self coming back, but I was like, the puppets are cool. But by the end of the movie, I think I would retract that statement. But they were all unique, so I'd give it that.
Yeah, I guess they were kind of interesting. I liked the guy that switched his head around and saw the
different expressions.
different
Yeah.
emotions like that. Kind of cool.
Yeah. And some of the puppet work was impressive. Not all. Not a lot of it, but there was some good puppetry in this.
I suppose.
Yeah, I was going to say not a lot, but some.
So
Worked in moments, I guess. Sam, what did you have?
I said the puppets themselves, like they were all different. They were all kind of creepy. And I do remember the one from when I was like a teenager when I first watched one of the 14. And then my only other thing that I thought stood the test of time was the hiding spot in the wall was pretty creative. Like,
Yeah.
and I kind of thought, I was like, oh, you just take that. And I was like, that's creepy though, because you hear about all the people in the walls and stuff like that in people's houses. I was like, ooh. But yeah, I kind of wish there was more with that in the film. But yeah.
Yeah, I had nothing. I didn't put anything that stood the test of time. I guess the puppets were kind of cool. There were scenes where they transitioned from walking to being, the attacker and stuff that worked, but that's about it. I mean, I'm basically saying I like the lighting as far as like this film goes. So
The soft focus.
yeah, it's tough. It's tough sledding on this film.
Yeah.
With that, LOL, what are our laugh out loud moments in this film? I had one. Well, I called the small-headed guy with the big fists. I called him Pinhead.
Yeah.
And Pinhead looking for his head after Gallagher popped it off. So I thought that was kind of funny because he just kind of, so that was one. And that's all I got. So Mike, what do you have?
I just had two. I put the puppet startled by the old lady, but I think it was just like, it's like that sort of like, reaction. And then my next one was later at the end of the film when Neil's beating up Alex and Neil's like, what the hell are you looking at? And then the puppet, like with the multiple expressions, looks down the barrel of the camera with like, can you believe this guy? Expression on his face. I was like, that's kind of funny.
Fair enough. So ear to ear splitting. Mike, did you have any of those?
I did actually. And all I put was like, I think there's always music. Like it could almost be gratuitous. It felt like there was no silence in this film.
Yeah. Sam, did you have any?
Yeah. So I hated the sound when the puppet was hit in the head in the lobby at the start. And then it was like the birds, the cartoon birds. It was all dizzy and stuff. I was like, that's stupid.
When it got hit by the door. Yeah.
Yeah. I said the opening music was awful. I didn't like the music throughout. And then I also said the music while they're dancing is so bad, like really corny and dumb.
So bad.
Yeah. It's horrible. Yeah.
So overall, pretty ear splitting.
Mine was with you, Mike. I thought there was too much background music. I just thought that it just was over the top. And then I also said the opening song, Dancing Marionettes, which I guess is the point. But then I said it's very long at 2 minutes and 45 seconds. It just seemed too much.
Yeah, it goes on and on.
So those were my two eerie's. Now, moving on to our what the fuck moment. Sam, what did you have for what the fuck in this film?
My first one was when they stabbed the corpse to make sure it was dead. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, like what the fuck? And then I also said kissing and groping the dead white witch. Like she was the one who had the footprints. So I said her as a whole, or with the feet, the chicken feet. I was like, didn't like that.
Chicken feet.
Yeah, wasn't she the one that she painted with the feet?
Yeah.
Wasn't that- yeah. I did not like her or the chicken feet. So
Yeah. My what the fuck was there's no investigation. Alex just leaves after all these people got killed and everything happens, and like he just leaves like he's on vacation. And then okay, see you later. And then I had someone comes back to life.
Neil.
Or do you mean the maid? Because we see her get whacked by the fireplace, and then suddenly she's on Neil's side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. She comes back to life and then she's helping out. So I didn't understand that either. Those were my two what the fucks. Mike, did you have any?
They've both been talked about. One was the female doll vomiting up slugs.
Yeah.
And the other one was the needle, like the size of it. And it's like, well, let's make sure he's dead.
Yeah.
It's like, well, he is now because you just punctured his heart.
But he's not.
But he's not.
All right. Back it up moments. None of us had any of these, so we're just going to skip right over this category. And hiding in the shadows. Mike, what did you have hiding in the shadows for this film?
The first one was just when we see the fairground at the beginning, there's lights burnt out on the rides.
Yeah.
And I was just like, one, why wouldn't the movie have a well-lit fairground and rides? But also, would you get onto a ride where it's like, yeah, we can't even be bothered to fix the lights? What else is going on there?
Right.
So true.
So yeah, that's my first one. And I had Alex is a man of 1,000 expressions. He acts with his face through this whole movie.
You're right.
Like,
Yeah.
reacting to everything.
Yeah. For sure. Sam, did you have any?
We kind of already talked about them, like why the puppets are so strong. I don't get that. And then the leech puppet, I just didn't get, like, that's the slowest method of killing someone.
Yes.
And like, yeah, it's like, cool, that's gross, but also it's slow. It was
Why?
like slow motion and why?
And
Like,
not fatal.
no. And it's like, oh, that's inconvenient if you
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
But like anyone can get away from a leech, I feel, on land. Like it's crazy. It's the most inefficient thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah. And mine are that as well. I wasn't sure right from the beginning who this guy was, why he could make these puppets come to life, what the story was there, and then why these guys are like showed up and are interested. They have these men in black dudes coming to come get him. They just show up, and then that's why he kills himself. Oh yeah, they're coming again. I wish we had more time together. Stuffs him in the hole and then shoots himself in the head.
And then those guys never come back.
We never see no investigation, no hide nor hair of those guys ever again.
Maybe in the 7th sequel. Who knows?
Yeah. So, anyways, a couple of questions of just even why this film exists. Like, what's the story behind these people and why are they there? Like, but we don't really get that answered.
No, it'd have been cool for a psychic to be like, oh, they're speaking to me, or I saw this in a dream, or they had sex here, and I can feel it.
Yeah.
Whatever it might be.
I had sex here and I can feel it. And we're moving on.
Whatever their powers are.
Yeah, no doubt. Mike, any others?
Just a couple more. This was just something I noticed. It was like a weird, not mistake or whatever, but during the sex scene where she's on top, there's clearly a bed sheet in between them. So it's like, that's weird. And then I put like, why does no one scream for help?
Yeah.
Ever. Like, just yell, help, help. Like, you're facing one puppet. Somebody else could come and defeat the one puppet with you, but nobody screams for help except for, I guess, the guy getting killed by leeches.
Yeah.
But even then they're like, oh, it's sex noises, but nobody else.
Yeah. I was like, I think all their rooms are right next to one another too. They would have definitely heard.
Yeah. Because they can hear the sex happening. Almost all of them hear it, right? So,
they go on and on about how they can all hear it.
Yeah.
Pillows over their ears. Ugh.
It's so weird. It really is like that was the like focus was like the sex part of it. Like they're like, I want someone who can feel everything.
Yeah.
And they kind of made a movie around that.
Yep.
Like
it's kind of like the 80s thing where can we get some nudity in here?
This seemed like a lot in this film,
was,
like honestly.
There was a lot.
There was a lot, yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
It didn't really make the story go any farther or anything like that.
Like there's nothing. They could have used her to like get the puppet master. And it's like the puppet master, I feel him right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. She could have walked in, felt the coffin, and be like, wait, I know he's alive because I can feel he's alive.
Something's happening. Yeah,
Yeah.
no psychics in that whole area could tell that he was alive or doing some kind of thing.
Yeah.
And another thing that annoyed me is Alex didn't call them psychics. He called them magicians. Like like they used magic.
Yeah.
And like, that's not really magic. Like I guess it is, but
Speaking of Alex, he dreams of things that are going to happen.
yes.
He dreams several times that Neil is going to shoot Megan,
Mm-hmm.
but he tells nobody that he's dreamed that Neil's alive. He's telling.
Yes, I know he sees it.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sees the leeches as well, like almost out of the gate.
Yeah.
Right. And he doesn't say anything.
No
and
heads up.
why doesn't he feel anything in the hotel when they go there? Like there's just, I don't know. There's just fucking questions forever.
Yeah.
Maybe in the other 14
14 ones, they wrap this all up. Yeah, you got to see number 2.
Like, we've created a lot of questions. Well, guess what?
There are 14 answers.
All right, now we're going to go into a new category. Mike, why don't you explain our new category to our listeners? Fright done right.
So for this category, we're just taking the concept of the film or moments of the film and comparing them to other films we've seen or other films that are out there just to see, does it work in this one or is there another film that has done it better?
Okay, and so in your opinion, is there a film that does it better?
I guess it depends on what you're looking at. If we're looking, well, actually, yes. No matter how you're looking at it. I was thinking about like for little creatures attacking, I'd say Gremlins or Critters does it better.
Yep.
And then if we're looking at possessed dolls, Child's Play does it better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sam?
I thought the same, like definitely Child's Play for the doll, but then I was like, for puppets coming alive, Pinocchio. I
Oh,
prefer
yeah.
Pinocchio. So, but yeah, I would agree with the little critters too.
Yeah. I would say any movie does anything better than this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like as far as possession goes, possessing of certain things, Meg is a good one.
Yeah.
Megan, not Meg. Meg's the shark.
Meg.
And Child's Play and Gremlin. Yeah, you've mentioned all the nice big ones, but even Critters I found more enjoyable than this.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about a slasher movie, I don't even think this falls under slasher.
No.
People barely die, and when they die in stupid ways.
Yep.
So I would say anything does it better.
In
In any aspect of this film. All right, we're going to go into our bonus features. Mike, why don't you start it off with a couple of yours?
The first one I have is that the concept for the film was different when it was first created. Instead of psychics, the characters were supposed to be witches and sorcerers who were more like asshole victims due to their being abusive and ruthless people.
See, well, there you go. That makes sense.
Way better.
Yeah.
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 And then around the puppetry, I watched a clip on YouTube and each puppet took 5 people for controlling it. And the scene in the coffin where I think it's Pinhead crawls out.
Yeah.
It's 17 seconds on film. It took 2 days to film.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oof.
I don't know why. They just said it took 2 days to film.
Everything's so slow.
Well, yeah. Well, and I guess when you're working with this many puppets and that many things, like and there's that many variables to your filmmaking, like you're not going to have them moving that fast and doing that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, can cut them some slack there, I guess. But nowadays, I mean, with CGI and stuff, it's just a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Well, and it doesn't seem like you're like, 5 puppeteers. But then when we were looking at Child's Play and when they have that many puppeteers working, it seems like,
Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was impressive when I did my research. And then I found out Child's Play had
12 on
more.
Child's
And I was
Play.
like,
Yeah.
this is not that impressive.
Not as impressive. Sam, did you have any?
Yeah, the hotel was a miniature. It was
Yeah.
actually about the size of a refrigerator.
Oh.
When the filmmakers found the perfect location, they hung the model in the air and used forced perspective in a way to make the hotel appear it was actually there. So that's why that scene is so shitty.
I see.
What's amazing though is like, not that it's like like it does look old, whatever, but like it is seamless. Like it does look like that hotel is on that bluff.
Yep.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. All right. I'll say that stood the test of time, sure. Pinhead's fists during the punching scenes are actually the fists of a little person, woman, Cindy Sorensen, who had to wear the same fingerless gloves and sweater sleeves to make it appear that it's the fists of Pinhead. Cindy cited the most difficult part of those scenes was to keep her head ducked the whole time while holding the pinhead puppet on her shoulders and to give off false punches at the same time.
Shit.
In the YouTube video, she talks about like punching one of the actresses and just sort of being like, they really had to choreograph, like, I'm going to move my hand just this way. And the actor was responsible for not getting hit, basically.
Right. Yeah. The other one I had was the leech's woman's mouth is made of foam latex, which makes the mouth appear to be more flexible whenever the leech woman coughs up a leech. Only 3/4 of the leech mechanism comes out of the puppet, and then a simple camera cut creates the illusion that an entire leech has come out of the woman's mouth.
Yeah.
Mike, did you have some others?
I had like, which is shocking, the puppets were only on screen for a total of 7 minutes
Yeah, I saw that too.
in a movie called
Oh.
Puppet Master.
It's because everything else was so long and
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everything was so drawn out.
Yeah. And that is all I have.
Sam?
My last one here is one of the early puppets that was pictured. It wasn't used on the film, but Charles Band, pictured using was a 6-armed ninja with guns.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to see that movie.
Yeah, he's called Six Shooter, and I can't remember if he's in 2 or 3, but he does come back.
It's 3.
3.
And my last one, creator Charles Band was going to remake the original film in 2010. The idea was scrapped due to negative backlash. Instead, produced Puppet Master, Axis of Evil. Okay, so now we're going to go into our watchability scale. And Sam, why don't you kick us off? What would you put this at out of 10?
So originally, prior to the conversation, I was going to put it at a 3. And I think I'm going to bring that down to a 2. I didn't, just the holes in it, like it was just too slow. It was just, there wasn't enough good stuff there. I had too many questions. At first I was like, yeah, it was okay. Like it was a movie that I watched at a 3, but honestly, I'm going to bring it down to a 2. There's too many holes. It was too weird. I wouldn't recommend anyone to watch it at a 2 or a 3. So 2.
Mike?
I'm kind of with Sam, like childhood Mike, despite the experience of watching it the way I did, would have given it a higher score. But even with the franchise that this created, I just don't think it's worth checking out. It's not one of those like, oh, this was a monolith or a monster of a horror franchise, so you got to check out what started it. So it's not a 1, but yeah, I'd say this is a definite 2 for me.
Yeah, for all the things I've said about it, I'm going to give it you know what? I'm going to give it a 1. I just did not like it. Yeah, and I'm sorry for all the puppeteers and people that like worked really hard to make those puppets work, but it is just it's not fun enough to bring it up to a 2 for me or a 3. It is very slow and it's just weird. Like I just didn't get a lot of it.
Yep.
Yeah, just like you said, Sam, there's just way too many holes for me to say, hey, you really have to check this film out. I cannot believe it spawned 14 sequels. Like that is just insane.
Yeah, it's actually crazy.
And it's direct to video, so it's not like there was a box office that said, like, wow, look at all the money we made.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people out there that like this film, but I am not one of them. And so we're going to shut her down. Thank you very much for listening to us. Remember to follow us on Instagram. We are at ScreamStreamPod. Stop by our website, screamstreams.com, where we have information about our episodes, descriptions of our categories, links to our research, our watchability scale, and a page where you can recommend movies you want us to discuss. Please rate, comment on, and subscribe to our show on any of the platforms where you get your podcasts. Till next time, this has been Chad and
Sam
and
Mike.
Scare you later.